Okay, guys, welcome back to our nightly videos. So our learning goals for tomorrow are I can use a scatter plot to decide if two variables have linear association and make connections to what the data represents. That's kind of like what we did today. We determined if they have a linear or nonlinear association a little bit in our warm-ups. And we also determined whether that association was positive, negative, or no association. And we made connections to what it represents with our variables, and whether, the dog's weight and height were positive or negative. We are also going to pick out clusters in data. So today we're going to focus back on clusters, that vocab word from last week, and make connections to what the data represents. So again, why is there a cluster? So just to practice and review some of the vocabulary terms that we talked about last week, this says circle the terms that describe the association in each scatter plot. So each of these lines here is a different type um, of association that there could be. So there could be a positive, negative, or no association. There could be linear, nonlinear association, and there could be clustering or no clustering. There could also, we could add a fourth row and say with or without an outlier as well. And tomorrow you guys are going to be doing an activity where you need to know these words and be able to use them to help describe graphs. So, first one that we've been talking about that we should know is that this scatter plot here is a positive association because it's going up from left to right. It is a linear association because I could use a line of best fit. That would be a straight line. And it is with clustering. There's a cluster of points here, a cluster of points here, and a cluster of points here. There's a good gap between these between these clusters. Okay, this next one here is negative. These points are kind of going down, so there is a negative association. There is a slight curve, so a good line of best fit would have a curve to it, so it is not linear. And there's not a cluster. These points are all fairly on this line. There's no gaps between them, so there is no clustering. It is without clustering. Okay, so down here it says to draw a scatter plot that shows no association. So no association is like our one yesterday or today where we had points that showed the number of letters in somebody's name and how tall they are. That didn't have association, so they could go all over the place. So this one says to just draw a scatter plot with no association. So I'm just going to put points on here. There's no association. It's not positive or negative. It's just scattered all over the place. Okay? So if you are asked to draw a scatter plot that has a positive, negative, clustering, nonlinear with an outlier, like this is kind of what we are going to be practicing tomorrow is really understanding, do we know what each of these vocabulary words means before we jump into what does that represent with the data? Okay, so if there's no association, that means that our x variable and our y value have nothing to do with each other. Okay, this one here says draw a scatter plot that shows a negative linear association with clustering. So negative, linear, and with clustering. So we want it to be going down. We want it to be a straight line and we want clusters. So I could put some little cluster here and I could do some clustering there. This would be a straight line would be my line of fit. I've got two main clusters and it's going downwards. Okay, yours doesn't have to be exactly like mine as long as you get the same general gist. Okay, so to end these notes and summary question, what is a strategy you can use to decide if two variables have a linear association? So specifically determining whether it is linear or not. So one way that we can do this is draw a line of fit through the middle of the points with a slope that has the same sign, meaning positive or negative sign, as the association. So if it's a negative association, it'd be a negative slope. If it's a positive association, it'd be a positive slope. If the points follow a straight line, the pattern, or sorry, yeah, straight line, then it is a linear association. And I'm going to underline the word straight. Okay. So those are our notes for tomorrow. Tomorrow's Desmos is really going to be wrapping up our understanding of all the vocabulary so we can jump into fully dissecting like what does that mean about the data. If you guys have any questions, please let me know tomorrow.